This video is for you if you're feeling stuck. Yes, we have a lot more tasks on a given day to do than we actually have the capability or the capacity of resolving those tasks. But before going to the subject, I know you want to support this channel. All you have to do, and it's free, is click here to subscribe, and you're gonna be receiving notifications for new videos that are released every single week. So let's get back to the topic, which is feeling stuck. You see, the feeling of being overwhelmed is perceived by our brain as a real threat. And that's a problem because that's the root of the reason why you're getting stuck and you're getting paralyzed. Because essentially your nervous system is triggering one of three responses, right? Fight, flight, or freeze. You probably are aware of the fight or fly response, right? The flight is to escape, or fight is to actually face it and do that hard task that you have to do. So that's the difference. What is the freeze? The freeze is this feeling stuck, is when you don't fight or you don't fight. So you're not escaping and you're not actually facing that task or executing that task. You're just stuck, you're frozen. So I have a very good technique that you can quickly attack this feeling of being frozen, the feeling of being so overwhelmed that you are stuck. You can't go anywhere, you can't go right, you can't go left, nothing. And the strategy is set it. Yes, set it. And I use the acronym SET, S-E-T, which means smallest executable task. That's an amazing strategy for you to get out of this feeling of being stuck or overwhelmed, because essentially what you're going to do, you're going to get this task that you were procrastinating, that got you frozen, and you're going to break that task down into the smallest executable task. Because when we are in this stuck mode, our brain tends to over exaggerate things. So even though you're looking at your to-do list and it doesn't feel scary, your brain is trying to preserve energy. So your brain is pushing you to freeze mode because it's a self-preservation mode, right? So when you get that task that initially might feel overwhelming and you break that down, remember you set it smallest executable task, you are reducing the resistance of the brain. So you're making it easier for your brain to understand that task is not overwhelming. And sometimes we want to be productive and we have the desire of, for example, spending 1 hour in a particular task. However, in reality, we are getting stuck. And most people, they fall into these traps. And I'll share one of the traps, which is there's always tomorrow. Your brain is going to try to escape and it's going to tell you there's always tomorrow. You can do this tomorrow. There's not enough energy today. I don't feel like doing it today. You see these traps that the brain is playing and trying to make you escape that task. And what ends up happening is zero progress on that task. Now, if you had set it smallest executable task, if you had broken that task down into small chunks, even if you do just a portion, let's say just 1 out of 100 tasks that is going to get you to that goal. So that's 1%, right? Even if you only complete 1% today, wouldn't you agree with me that that's better than 0% that you would do if you would fall into that trap that the brain's trying to play, which is there's always tomorrow, right? So if you do 1% today, tomorrow you don't have 100% to complete the goal anymore. You have 99%. Obviously, the goal is to do more than 1%, right? But once you start reducing that brain's resistance, that's the entry point for doing more. But most people, they don't even wait for the entry point, or they don't even allow themselves to enter that 1% entry point. And that's the feeling that you're having right now, of feeling stuck or feeling overwhelmed. So in this task, let's say that you are planning to spend an hour, and that hour would complete 100% of the task. I'm just giving an example. If you set it, if you use the smallest executable task technique, what you're going to do is, let's break that down into 4 blocks of 15 minutes. Let's make it easy, okay? So if you complete 15 minutes of that task that would take you an hour to complete 100%, that's a quarter of the whole task. That's 25%. You see the progress that you're making versus 0% if you would be like, just, I don't feel like doing today, I'll leave it for tomorrow. So push yourself to do that 15 minutes, which is going to mean 25% of that task. And then tomorrow you only have 75% to go. That's what you have. That's the mentality that I try for you to insist to build. It's a mindset shift. And this is so replicatable. You can use this technique for basically everything, every project, every complex task that you have. You can break that down into small executable tasks and small chunks that you can make sure that you have progress on a daily basis. You know, one of the things that frustrate people the most is not having progress. To make sure that you have progress, this is an assurance of progress, is when you break it down and you complete even a small chunk, okay? Because wouldn't you agree with me if you wake up tomorrow and you're like, okay, yesterday wasn't perfect, I felt tired, I felt overwhelmed, but I completed this, and that, which is maybe 1% of the whole thing, but still is 1%, right? So you are already set apart, you know, because most people don't even go to that 1% when they feel stuck. And you're trying to train your brain that it's okay to feel overwhelmed, to feel stuck, but you can still make progress in that, you know, mode of I'm tired, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm stuck. The secret is always making progress, daily progress. I hope you're going to start applying the set it technique, smallest executable task today. Grab your list of projects, your to-do list, and start breaking that down. You're going to see that your feeling of being overwhelmed is going to be reduced. When you show your brain that you can break that down into smallest executable tasks and small chunks and start executing, you are working together with your brain, and that's the idea. That's the objective that I have with this technique for you. I hope you have an amazing and blessed day. I'll see you in our next video.